Have you ever looked at something as simple as a bottle or a popsicle stick and thought it was just trash? What if I told you, hidden inside, is the power to transform your small garden or patio into something stunning and alive? Welcome to Found and Flipped, a place where forgotten things are reborn with beauty and purpose. In today's video, we'll explore unbelievable DIY upcycling, turning bottles and popsicle sticks into charming garden borders and tiny backyard birdhouses, perfect for even the smallest spaces. Remember, these images are pure inspiration. If you feel inspired, make it your own, using what you already have around you. Creativity begins not with what you buy, but with how you see. And before we begin, maybe to you, I'm just another face on a screen. But behind this content is a real story and a real family. Every like, every comment, every subscribe, it matters more than you know. When you subscribe, you're not just supporting a channel. You're helping a dream stay alive, giving a small family hope, one click at a time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for seeing me. In the quiet charm of a tiny backyard, sometimes it only takes the simplest things to create beauty and life. Popsicle sticks, usually tossed away without thought, can be reborn into something delightful, a birdhouse that brings songs and color into your garden. Imagine arranging each stick, one by one, like you are composing a melody. A small roof takes shape, a gentle curve of walls, and soon a tiny doorway welcomes little sparrows. Painting it in soft whites or cheerful blues adds a touch of personality, but leaving it bare with the warmth of natural wood is just as calming. Place it on a garden border, or hang it gently along your fence, and you will see how a modest piece of trash transforms into a haven for life. When the morning sun falls across its roof and the flowers bloom below, the scene feels like a painting that you can step into. The beauty of DIY is not only in the finished craft, but in the journey of creating it. With every stick you glue, you give your hands the power to shape joy, your space a story to tell, and your garden a melody sung by tiny wings. Sometimes the most ordinary objects carry hidden potential. An empty plastic bottle, often discarded as trash, can be transformed into a simple gift for your backyard animals. With just a few careful cuts and a shallow tray beneath, it becomes a feeder that keeps your chickens and ducks happy all day long. The beauty lies not only in how cheap and practical it is, but also in how it makes life easier. Instead of scattering grains on the ground where they are quickly wasted, the feeder lets food spill slowly, giving each bird a fair share. Hanging the bottle on a wooden post or placing it by the fence keeps the space tidy, and it saves you from constant refilling. What makes this idea special is its harmony with small gardens and tiny yards. The feeder blends naturally into the backyard, allowing you to enjoy the sight of chickens pecking peacefully as the morning light touches the grass. It is proof that with creativity, even waste can nurture life, turning your patio or garden corner into a place of balance between humans, nature, and the creatures we care for. In a small backyard, near the shimmer of a pond, even the simplest of waste can be reborn with purpose. An old plastic bottle, once forgotten, can turn into a humble dispenser that keeps ducks well-fed and gardens lively. By placing the bottle upside down into a shallow tray, grains fall gently, never wasted, always within reach of hungry beaks. This design is not only cost-free but wonderfully efficient. Ducks gather calmly, each finding its share, while the feeder stays clean and easy to refill. For those with tiny yards or compact patios, this idea brings harmony. Space is saved, the ground stays neat, and the birds are nourished without extra effort. There's also a quiet beauty in watching them. One duck eating slowly, another splashing joyfully nearby, their feathers glistening under the sun. It reminds us that caring for animals does not require wealth, only imagination and kindness. With a single reused bottle, you create a rhythm of life in your garden. A soft reminder that sustainability can be simple, gentle, and deeply rewarding. There is something magical about giving bottles a second life. Instead of lying forgotten in the corner of a trash bin, they can be transformed into borders that shape and frame the soul of a garden. Imagine lining them up, half buried in the earth, their glass surfaces catching the morning light, sparkling softly like jewels set into the soil. Colored bottles, green, brown, or clear, create a playful rhythm along the edge of flower beds, while painted plastic bottles bring a cheerful charm to small vegetable patches. The contrast of fresh lettuce, herbs, or blooming flowers against the recycled border makes even the tiniest garden feel full of life and creativity. The beauty of this idea is its simplicity. Anyone can do it. No expensive tools, no complicated steps. And yet the result is striking, a blend of color, structure, and imagination. It saves money, reduces waste, and turns a patio or backyard into a gallery of living art. Each bottle tells a story of reuse, of care, of seeing possibility where others see only trash. And when the sunlight falls across the garden, it feels as though nature and human hands are working together to create quiet poetry in the smallest of spaces. Sometimes the smallest details carry the deepest charm. A fence made of simple popsicle sticks may look modest at first, yet when placed around a flower bed or vegetable patch, it turns into a frame that celebrates life. Each stick, glued carefully side by side, stands like a guardian of color and growth, protecting blossoms or herbs within. Painting them in white creates a crisp, clean contrast against the green of lettuce or the vibrant hues of marigolds. Leaving them in their natural wood brings warmth, as if the garden itself is wrapped in the simplicity of nature. These tiny fences do not demand space or wealth. They only ask for patience and imagination. What makes them beautiful is how they bring order and softness at the same time. A walkway lined with these miniature fences feels welcoming, almost like an invitation to step into a storybook. In small patios or tiny yards, they give structure without overwhelming the space, reminding us that elegance is often found in the simplest of creations. And when the sun casts gentle shadows across their wooden lines, the garden whispers quietly of care, creativity, and the joy of making something with your own hands. When space is scarce, the garden does not have to disappear, it simply grows upward. Vertical bottle gardens are a quiet reminder that nature always finds a way, even in the smallest of corners. With bottles hung on fences or stacked on wooden frames, life stretches skyward. Spinach leaves unfurl like green sails, strawberries dangle like rubies, and flowers spill their colors down the wall. This idea is more than decoration. It is a solution. For those who dream of fresh herbs in a tiny yard or blossoms on a narrow balcony, vertical gardens turn wasted bottles into towers of abundance. The trick lies in balance, cutting the bottles wide enough for roots to breathe, adding rich soil, and letting the sunlight do the rest. With just a little care, each bottle becomes a vessel of growth, proof that creativity can multiply the space you have. There is something calming about watching rows of greenery climb a wall. They soften fences, brighten patios, and offer food or fragrance within arm's reach. It feels like a conversation between you and the earth, one that whispers gently, "No space is ever too small to welcome life." A patio is more than a place to sit. It is a canvas where simple touches can shape the mood of an entire home. Popsicle sticks, humble and light, can be reborn into ornaments that brighten even the smallest corners. With patience, they form stars that glow against a white wall, or butterflies that dance across a wooden fence, painted in cheerful colors that catch the eye and lift the spirit. There is beauty in these tiny details. A lantern made from popsicle sticks, with a candle glowing softly inside, brings warmth to evening gatherings, while geometric patterns crafted by hand give the patio a sense of artistry. These creations are not expensive, nor do they require special skills, only imagination and the willingness to try. What makes them inspiring is how they blend with nature. Flowers bloom at their side, vines climb around them, and the whole patio feels like a small story unfolding, one of care, creativity, and joy in the ordinary. When you sit there, surrounded by handmade touches, the space becomes more than a patio. It becomes a retreat, a reminder that beauty is within reach of anyone willing to create. When evening arrives and the air begins to cool, the backyard transforms into a place of quiet retreat. Old bottles, once forgotten, glow gently as lights within them awaken. Hung on fences or placed along borders, they turn an ordinary yard into a haven of warmth and calm. Each bottle, whether glass or painted plastic, carries a soft glow that spreads like golden brushstrokes across the night. The beauty of these lights is not only in how they shine, but in how simple they are to create. A string of fairy lights tucked inside, or a solar lamp fitted neatly into the neck, is enough to bring gentle radiance. They require little cost, yet the effect feels priceless. A backyard that welcomes friends, comforts family, and whispers serenity to anyone who lingers there. These bottle lights do more than illuminate. They tell a story of resourcefulness, of trash reborn into beauty. And when the fence glows softly at dusk, with flowers resting quietly nearby, the small space feels alive, almost magical, a reminder that light can be found in the most unexpected places. A garden often feels complete when framed with care, and painted bottles offer a way to do just that. By giving each bottle a new coat of color, they stop being plain containers and become strokes of art along the soil. Bright reds, soft blues, cheerful yellows, they line the edges like a ribbon, guiding the eye and giving structure to flowers and vegetables alike. It is a practice both playful and practical. Half-burying glass or plastic bottles into the ground anchors them firmly, while their painted surfaces add a decorative touch that lasts through the seasons. In a small vegetable patch, green lettuce and spinach look even fresher when bordered by soft pastel tones. Around blooming marigolds or daisies, The vibrant bottles echo the joy of the petals, turning the garden into a mosaic of color. This idea is as simple as it is inspiring. It requires little more than old bottles, paint, and imagination. Yet when sunlight strikes the painted edges, the garden seems to smile, inviting anyone who passes to pause for a moment. And in that quiet pause, the beauty of recycling reveals itself, a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can shape harmony, order, and delight in the smallest of spaces. There is a certain joy in welcoming birds into a garden, their gentle songs filling the air like soft music. With nothing more than an old plastic bottle, this invitation can be made real. By cutting small openings near the base and adding perches from simple wooden sticks, the bottle becomes a feeder, offering seeds to tiny visitors who bring life and movement to the yard. Hanging them on a fence or from a tree branch turns forgotten corners into little sanctuaries. Sparrows flutter down, finches rest lightly on the perches, and the yard feels alive in a new way. It costs almost nothing, yet the reward is immeasurable. A garden enriched not only by flowers and plants, but by the presence of free, untamed wings. The beauty lies in how adaptable the idea is. Bottles can be painted to blend with a patio's charm, or left clear so you can see the seeds within. With every bird that lands, you're reminded that recycling is not only about saving waste, but also about creating harmony between human hands and nature's rhythm. And in those quiet mornings, watching them feed, the world feels slower, calmer, and beautifully complete. Sometimes, growth only needs a little guidance. A humble trellis, crafted from simple popsicle sticks, can lift vegetables skyward, giving them space to breathe and thrive. With each stick placed in a crisscross pattern, strength is built where there was none before, and vines eagerly climb, wrapping themselves around the wooden frame as if grateful for the support. In a patio planter, tomatoes find their balance, their stems tied gently, their fruits ripening in clusters of red against a backdrop of green. In small garden beds, cucumbers and beans weave upward, blossoms turning into harvest, the trellis standing as both helper and quiet companion to the plants it supports. The beauty of this idea lies in its simplicity. It requires no heavy tools, no costly materials, only patience, creativity, and the willingness to reuse what is already at hand. And in return, the garden rewards you with abundance, with order, with a rhythm that feels both practical and poetic. When you see vegetables hanging heavily on a trellis you built yourself, it becomes more than food. It becomes a reminder that care, even in its simplest form, creates life worth celebrating.